Hey, what up? This is Zach Guilford from Midnight Mass, and you're listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Pop Culture Pastor.
Pop Culture Pastor.
Johnny Ringo, Madcap. Where you going with that shotgun?
That is an all-time movie. It's one of my faves.
Is every line in that movie quotable? Is every Doc Holliday line in that movie quotable?
You're no Daisy.
Yeah, you're no Daisy. You're no Daisy. Of course, that is. Maybe we'll just sit here for an hour and a half and quote Tombstone. Should we do that?
I don't know if there's any copyright law against it or anything, so go for it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Now I've got two guns, one for both of you. Okay. Anyways, that was really bad. That was my very sorry impersonation of Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday.
I'm offended for Val.
Man, that got harsh. That got harsh in a hurry. Okay. This is neither here nor there, but I had a dream once as a kid that I wanted to be. What kind of music is it that Harry Belafonte sang? You were singing it right before we started recording.
Oh,
Dale.
yeah.
Dale. Daylight come, you know.
Yeah.
It had a name, right?
I don't even know what kind of genre that is just
It's
ingrained
fun.
into every human being.
When I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a singer like that, like Harry Belafonte, even though I was a white kid from Kansas, not from the islands. Dreams are dashed. That's all I'll say about that. Dreams are dashed.
Did this dream happen after watching Beetlejuice?
I liked him before that.
Okay.
But that definitely helped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that was made it kind of mainstream for a younger audience. I don't know why I'd listened to the Deo song a lot before then. It's just something. Maybe my mom had the record. I don't know. My mom doesn't listen to the podcast, so I feel comfortable saying this. My mom is like, and probably most people think this about their parents. My mom is decidedly uncool. There's nothing about her that'd be like, oh, she's cool. This would crush her if she heard this. Mom, I'm sorry, but it's true. I'm not cool. I'm not cool either. So don't get it twisted.
I haven't met your mom, but like she bought you an autographed Gladiator poster.
She did. It's right here in the radio room. Yeah.
Had that record.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm getting at.
This is
what. Let me finish. You didn't get to hear my full thought. My mom is decidedly uncool, but had the coolest record collection ever. I grew up listening to Styx, Journey, Foreigner, just like 80s goodness, man. She even had the Ohio players, the Ohio Street Players. Roller coaster of love. Say what? Yeah, man.
You lost me on that one.
Oh, it was good times. Plus, there was a girl on the cover that was really. Anyways,
What's this podcast again?
it was a time of discovery. This is Pop Culture Pastor. Welcome to our podcast, and I promise we won't talk about my times of discovery ever again. Any allusions to that will be stricken from the record. And you know what? We're all human. We're all human. And it's a universal feeling to be like my first crush. We should talk about that. Should be a show. We should do an episode. Let's let the people decide. Everybody listening, which by the way, thank you to everyone listening to this podcast. We are coming off our best listening week ever. More than double our best week ever of listeners. So people are catching on to the podcast. You're sharing us. That's great. Keep sharing us and keep listening. This is wonderful. Beyond my wildest dreams. And if you want, if you communicate with us, get on our Facebook page. Just search Pop Culture Pastor on Facebook and you'll find us. And we could talk about stuff we would talk about, but that seems like it would be a good pod theme for one of the pods is our first celebrity crush. Do you have celebrity crushes in New Zealand, Cain?
Yeah, kind of. I guess
Kinda?
so. I guess it's a universal thing, right?
Yeah, but would it be like New Zealand crushes or would it be American?
American.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
American and British, like, because we kind of get a melting pot of the two.
Now, how old are you? Yeah, I've asked you this before, I think.
42.
Okay.
43.
Oh, you might be just
Something
too
like that.
young for the Alyssa Milano crush phase.
Right.
There was a time, there's a certain sweet spot there if you're my age where
Who's the boss?
every boy was in love with Alyssa Milano. Then, not now. Just to clarify. She got super political, huh?
It happens.
It does. Okay, yeah, but this is Pop Culture Pastor. We talk about all things pop culture, and we're also in ministry. And so sometimes the ministry comes out in us. Sometimes we're kind of focused on the pop culture part, and we just hope we're talking about something that you find interesting, and we have a conversations, and hopefully that's something you enjoy. We always start off with news. Now, Cody, just right before the podcast, you were talking about a news item I wasn't super familiar with. Could you tell me what's going on with Jon Stewart?
Okay, so it was trending on Twitter this week that Jon Stewart had said that Harry Potter, especially the film franchise, is anti-Semitic and that chock full of anti-Jewish stereotypes. And so, like, that was trending. And then Jon Stewart came out on his podcast and said, that's a lie. and he specifically called out Newsweek because they were one of the first journalistic entities to publish it. But what he had actually said was on a podcast a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't like he just said it this week. It was something that happened a long time ago, and he was talking with another comedian, and they were just randomly talking about a bunch of different stuff, and it got to Harry Potter, and then they're like, oh, which Jewish stereotype is this? Kind of joking.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that was it. That was as far as it went. And, like, if you were listening to the podcast, you would know, oh, this was all said in jest.
Yeah.
But then, like, Newsweek took it as he was dead serious and hates J.K. Rowling.
Well, okay, but let's examine the math problem here, the equation, because it wasn't Newsweek. I guarantee they got this off of Twitter. Okay, so what happens is someone hears a clip of something, and there's already there's chum in the water, right? To use a Shark Week reference.
Yeah.
There's chum in the water, and everyone hates J.K. Rowling now because she doesn't believe exactly what her worldview doesn't fit exactly what your worldview is. So we're going to hate her and we're going to cancel her. And then journalists take the anger and the half-truths and sometimes non-truths they see on social media, and they assume it's real news. They assume, oh, Jon Stewart said J.K. Rowling was anti-Semitic, and why would that be a lie? Because I don't like J.K. Rowling, says journalist. Let's be really clear. Journalism as a occupation right now is trash. Absolute garbage. Everything's fake news. That's my kind of belief on it. I don't believe anything I read anymore because people cannot just report things anymore. Their self-righteousness is a part of it. Even if they're reporting just the regular news.
Mm.
It's really hard to be, especially someone who is people my age. So I'm 45, who can remember a time before the internet, which is where everything starts to shift. By the way, is the internet, this is another topic, is the internet Pandora's box for our times?
I'm going to say no.
No.
I'm saying no.
You're saying it's more positive than negative?
No.
Oh.
I think Pandora's box was open long before that. And
no, I'm said for our times.
Yeah, no. For your time. I'm going to go your time.
Okay. Oh,
and I told you.
Yeah. Okay.
There's
you
two
have this
people.
other theory. You have two people that you blame for this.
Okay.
All right.
And one is very obvious and the other's not. So Ted Turner, the guy that started TBS, TNT, and CNN.
But if it was Ted Turner's fault, it was probably Jane Fonda, because that's who we blame.
So the other person is baby Jessica.
What?
The baby that was in the well
All
in
right.
the 80s.
I have 2 questions for you. First of all, how dare you? What did baby Jessica do?
Okay, so I'm watching this show on Disney Plus about like the 80s, and
Obviously.
yes, as one does, and they're talking about this being like one of the big moments of the 80s, and it was like such a happy moment. There was such rejoicing, and it launched like CNN into the world of journalism, that the 24-hour news network was here to stay because of that story, that it like galvanized the whole nation and then like brought in the whole world essentially. And so because of that, now we go after all the sensational stories, whether true or not, and we like hyper fixate on them because it draws in more viewers. And like this program talked about how everyone was like, oh my goodness, did you watch baby Jessica in the well? Oh, Nancy Reagan postponed her surgery because baby Jessica was being pulled out of the well. I mean, quite literally, like this is happening. So is it directly her fault? No. Indirectly, yes. So I'm blaming her and Ted Turner because he launched the platform that like created this.
It's an interesting theory. And I would agree with parts of it. I would say that CNN is fringy, is still pretty fringy until Operation Desert Storm. That's the moment where the cable news, 24-hour cable news cycle takes over. And the networks try to catch up by going 24-hour special news reports on Desert Storm.
Oh, I remember Desert.
Do you remember
Storm.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was, and it was so, oh man, it was so palatable because we crushed. It played to all our American sensibilities. Like we are crushing them and it's war and we're awesome again. Like we're washing that Vietnam taste out of our mouth a little bit, and it's on 24-hour television, like nothing before. And so that's, while the seeds of it may have been planted, I think it's pretty fringy until Desert Storm, and that's when it just, there's no turning back. But I agree in principle. Ted Turner definitely culpable in all of this. Is he still alive? We should
think
write
so.
a letter. We should write a letter to Jane Fonda. It's probably her fault too. Just because she annoys me. I should.
I don't know what
I don't know
Jane
why I
did
just
to
said
you.
that. I don't know why I just said that. I think it's because my grandpa didn't like Jane Fonda. It's just genetic. My grandpa was in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Korea, and was in World War II. I mean, he was super young, so he wasn't like in World War II, but was stationed over there directly after. He lied about his age to get in the military when he was too young. And so my grandpa was very patriotic and very much disliked Jane Fonda. I heard all kinds of Jane Fonda slander growing up, which, at the time sounded pretty deserved. Like, oh, she hates our soldiers. Okay, cool. Anyways, I don't want to bring up old stuff. Jane probably doesn't want that either. Okay, so Jon Stewart has to deny journalism's just in such a bad state.
Yeah,
It's just such a bad state.
he's like, I watched the Harry Potter movies like way too much for a grown man, and like he actually enjoys them. And he's like, if I have any beef with J.K. Rowling, it's definitely not over this. She doesn't owe me any comment or whatsoever.
It's interesting that Jon Stewart still enjoys a level of popularity. Because what I'm about to say is that he's one of the people I like to follow, along with certain other people like Joe Rogan. There's just certain people that I consider to be truth tellers. Now that doesn't mean they're always right. Doesn't mean they're always correct. They have opinions that I don't always agree with. But I find them to be people who like to seek real truth. They're not just like towing a political line that they're trying to prove their righteousness about,
Yeah, and that's why I really appreciated John when he was on The Daily Show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, you could definitely tell there was definitely a more left, like, leaning towards the news, but like he came down hard on those on the left as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Yeah, when he's on the Daily Show, it's pretty equal time bashing everybody. But as soon as that Noah whatever takes over,
Trevor Noah,
it's basically the liberal version of the Babylon Bee. It's just the Onion. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it's because he had to kind of replace both Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, that's true. For my money, as much as I love Jon Stewart, nothing's better than Craig Kilborn. Nothing. People don't remember Craig Kilborn. He was awesome. He was like, Craig Kilborn is the type of funny that he'll burn the whole place down to make you laugh. But he doesn't care about the surroundings. He'll burn it all down. Do you remember Craig?
I do not.
So he started off on Sports Center. That's where he got his start.
Oh,
and
that
then
guy.
he's the guy who starts the Daily Show.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's not super big like it is with Jon Stewart's the guy that takes it to the stratosphere. But Craig Kilborn was the original host, and he's just, man, he was just kind of out there, and I just enjoyed his version of humor. Where, he doesn't care who you are, what political bent you like. He's just going to burn it all down.
It's weird that, like, SportsCenter kind of launches, like, these, like, semi-political careers, commentary careers, because what's his name that was on MSNBC for several years? Is his name Keith?
Keith Olbermann.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Keith. So, two of the big guys that start the Sports Center kind of culture are Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick. They're the team. They're together. And then there's this like next group that kind of takes over after they make it big and kind of go off and do other things. There's this next group that includes Craig Kilborn,
Rich Eisen, Stuart Scott.
Yeah, they may have been that next group. There's one other one there that really
Kenny Mayne.
Kenny Mayne's kind of part of that next group. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. There were other guys that made something out of it.
Kane's like, what is SportsCenter?
Kane?
I don't know.
Where's New Zealand at in Harry Potterdom? Does Lord of the Rings just kind of cancel everything out there, or
no? Harry Potter's pretty big.
Pretty big there.
Yep.
Okay, I figured it would be.
I think it's pretty big worldwide in Western cultures. I think it's pretty universal.
It's so weird to think of New Zealand as a Western culture because it's Eastern.
It's southern.
Yeah, but is New Zealand a place where like the woke culture exists? So like the whole thing with J.K. Rowling, is that a thing, or did people not really care about it?
People didn't really care about it.
Yeah.
I think there has been aspects of the woke culture that have made it over the ocean to New Zealand, but it's not as crazy big as it is over here.
I just don't understand. There's those people who you'll see them on social media. I'm like, I'm never watching Harry Potter again because J.K. Rowling's the worst. And I'm just, I think, why would you do that? It brought you joy, correct?
She already has your money.
Right.
Like, you gave it to her a long time ago. You rewatching it when it airs on ABC Family or Freeform, whatever it is now.
But logically, it doesn't make sense. Forget about the money aspect. Forget about that she's getting over on you anyways. That's just a ha ha ha, we got you. Just from a standpoint of it brought you personal joy, why would you let the person who created it stop you from being joyful? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know who created the A-Team. If I turned out he was the worst dude ever, I'm not going to stop watching the A-Team. Because B.A. Baracus is the man, and I love Hannibal, Colonel Hannibal.
Although a lot of people in the anti-JK crowd will say, I don't want to support a world that she continues to profit off
Well,
of.
then you can say what you just said, because she's got more money than she'll ever need.
Oh, yeah.
No,
like
it doesn't matter. Oh, Twitter user 54321. Oh, you're going to stop giving her money? I'm sure you're going to crush her.
Because, like, she was a billionaire, gave away a lot of money to charitable causes, lost her billionaire status, and I think she might have gained it back. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
She's well off. Don't worry about her and enjoy the movies or the books that you enjoy.
It's all part of this weird thing we do where I don't have to be best friends with the person that created the entertainment that brings me joy. I don't have to agree with them. Not into that unless they're putting a lot of their self-righteousness into what there's the story they're telling, which can happen nowadays, especially. I mean, do you watch network television? Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I used to watch New Amsterdam.
Oh, the
a TV show. Yeah, it was a TV show about a hospital that was mildly interesting. And then at some point around the third season, every storyline started becoming like it was like a liberal storyline machine. Where it was just like, okay, we get it. The creators of this show have a liberal political bent. Are we going to talk about the people anymore? Or is it all just going to be based around an ideology? Because that's when it gets boring. I'm just like, okay, well, if I wanted this, I'd go on Twitter more.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay. That was good news item, Cody.
/ you did not see baby Jessica being thrown down the well again.
We have talked about baby Jessica. We've talked about the A-Team briefly. We talked about Craig Kilborn. I mean, I don't know where you're getting entertainment like this anywhere else.
Don't forget about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, New Zealand. We have a New Zealander on our podcast.
Last I checked, well, technically that's kind of up for debate now.
I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah,
no,
so-
I'm just. Yeah, will you guys ever become American citizens, or is that like in your plans? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
most probably. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
we're
I'll cry that day.
yeah.
My brother, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry.
We're winning again.
Yes. I'll start singing that Neil Diamond song. They coming to America today. Okay.
Although they've been here for a while.
Yeah. Yes, like the podcast listeners don't need to know that. They don't need to know that you've like lived here before for years.
Yeah. No, I mean, not that long. Only like a few years.
But that's years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name it and claim it.
I'm brand new, fresh off the boat.
We picked him up. We literally picked him up at the dock in Kansas. And if you believe that, we've got some real estate to share sell you on our merch site. As we speak, things are getting canceled left and right. The Omicron variant of the coronavirus. The Grammys got canceled today.
Oh, no.
Numerous Broadway shows have canceled performances. Let's see. The other things, the Golden Globes are going all online. No red carpet. Lots of things being canceled. Football, the NFL is pursuing maybe an alternate site for the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Because California is supposed to be in Los Angeles. California's got tighter, stricter COVID laws. What do we think here?
So, like, I'm going to have an unpopular opinion. I don't like award shows. So, hey, you can cancel those all day long.
Yeah, I'm not. I used to like them when I was younger. And then, of course, they became super places for people to get on their soapboxes and preach and be political and stuff, too. So I started to not enjoy them as much.
Seems like everything has an agenda these days, right?
Yeah.
Everything.
So, I think...
someone says something super liberal, camera flashes down to Meryl Streep nodding and going, yeah, and pumping her fist. And I'm just like, whatever.
So I think when I, could care less about the Golden Globes and the Oscars and all that is, when I learned, how much, is in their goodie bags and how much it's worth. And I'm like, these people are rich.
Yeah. Swag.
They don't need that.
Yeah, they don't need it. Isn't that weird how our celebrity society works, though? If you're already rich, you get free stuff. They don't need it. They're rich. Give the free stuff to the people in L.A.
Yeah, if they donated all that free stuff to, some random, homeless shelter.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be cool. you tell us where you want this bag to go to someone that's in need, and we'll send it. And then you can say, oh, Meryl Streep sent it to here.
Yeah, let's just pretend I'm Tom Hanks. I'm just like, hey, you know what? Instead of giving me that bag of stuff you're about to give me, I'm telling you what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to box it up, pick out a random address in South Central LA, and send it to them.
Yeah.
And then put a little note saying courtesy of the Academy Awards or whatever.
/ Tom Hanks.
And Tom, because you gotta let your right hand see what your left hand is doing a little bit. Right?
I mean, scripturally you shouldn't, but I mean, if it makes you feel better at night, go for it.
So, where do we think this is going? We're coming off what is finally the bounce back of theaters with Spider-Man No Way Home, bringing us back to a time when theaters were big. Now everything's getting canceled, and looks like we're heading for lockdown part 2.
This is not happening at a good time for me.
Oh no!
Like,
we have grief counselors standing by, Cody. Do you need
the Batman? Better not be affected by this.
Well, Morbius.
Like,
this brings us to another news item. Morbius was pushed back by Sony.
No.
Did you not know this? This happened yesterday, I believe, as we're recording it. They pushed back the release date for Morbius to April 1st.
My Lanta.
I have ruined Cody's day. It was supposed to come out the end of this month.
Yes.
And now it has been pushed back to April 1st. Now, however, there's lots of rumors out there that this isn't so much COVID-based as it is Andrew Garfield-based. That they're wanting to add, due to the success,
they're wanting some reshoots.
They're wanting some reshoots. So a lot of what, if you're not aware, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness has been undergoing tons of reshoots right now, and the rumor is that Marvel is just going all out with the success of the Spider-Man stuff. They're just like, hey, let's just get people for cameos. Let's put in some cool stuff in here, and so that's what they're doing with the reshoots. And a lot of people think that Feige convinced Sony, hey, go all out. This is successful. Take your Spider-Man, take Andrew Garfield, put him in this. Take Tobey Maguire, whatever you want to do. And so there's rumors that Andrew Garfield is there's going to be a part of this movie.
Although, like, I had heard that he was already in it. But if he wasn't in it and they're doing reshoots to make him in it, then that's a whole different ball game. But like, I had just watched Venom 2 in preparation for Morbius, in case there was something that was in Venom 2 that might be relative.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm upset. Thanks a lot, COVID.
Other news: Spencer Eldon, who was photographed naked as a photographed naked as a baby for Nirvana's Nevermind album cover.
Oh, that guy.
Iconic, with the baby in the pool chasing the dollar bill. His trial that he was suing the Nirvana estate, Geffen Records,
and Dave Grohl, of
profiting off of child pornography, according to court documents, and the judge has dismissed the lawsuit. Fair?
I said that.
Do you think he was just money grubbing?
Oh, yeah. Like, he could have said, hey, like, can you pay off my college debt? And I'm sure the Nirvana estate would have been like, yeah, like, we still sell tons of these. So you're good.
Yeah. I mean, at least a part of this is, hey, no one knows who I am. No one knows I'm on this iconic record cover and nobody knows it. But if I sued them and
everyone
acted like I was hurt, maybe everybody would know me. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, of course you're going to be cynical.
Because, like, no one's going to recognize him as a baby.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Part of me is just like, aren't we ever just satisfied with, like, you're a part of an iconic record cover? You're on the record. You're on one of the most iconic records in the 90s, if not the most iconic record label or cover. When people see that picture, they know exactly what it is of that little naked baby in the pool.
Like, I'm trying to think of 90s album covers, and like that goes above 10. It goes above.
The only ones I can think of are the Snoop Dogg cartoon cover.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre's Chronic cover. A lot of those rap covers were iconic.
Yeah. Maybe some of the boy bands.
Vanilla Ice. No, I think that was the 80s technically.
Yeah, Backstreet and NSYNC. Like, if you're of the millennial crowd, you would think they're iconic. But yeah, no, that one's definitely top 5 of the decade and potentially number 1.
I love that he sued he went the child pornography route because he's naked, the baby, and not there's a baby in a pool, not the child endangerment route. Because to me, when I look at this photo, I'm like, that's not safe. That baby doesn't know how to swim.
/ your parents, I assume, signed off on it. Did you sue them?
Where are your parents on this, right? They were a part of this. Yeah. Next news item. Are you guys aware of a show called 90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah.
90 Day Fiancé is a reality show of some sort. And their stars often have side hustles for additional income beyond their paychecks from the franchise. This is some reality show that I've never heard of.
They introduce each other 90 days before a wedding date, and they have a chance to decide if they want to go for it or not.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Stephanie Matto, who has been on 90 Day Fiancé, her latest successful venture was a bit stranger than most. Matto began selling her own farts in jars weeks ago. Why are you laughing?
No reason.
This is a legitimate money-making venture. I mean, who wouldn't want farts in a jar? You guys, be mature. Be mature about this, please. And she allegedly turned a considerable profit doing so. I mean, first of all, we could stop this story right here and just talk about this and it'd be nuts. The fact that we live in a culture where people are buying farts in a jar. Like, first of all, is it a collectible thing? Do you just put that on your shelf? You never open it and say, look, Stephanie Matto's farts in there. Her butt flakes are in there. Because that's what farts are. That's where the smell comes from. The little butt flakes go into your nose. So I'm sorry, am I grossing you out, Cody? Because people buy this. All right. So the only way that it's worth anything is if you never open that jar. But I have a feeling.
Or do you save it for special occasions?
I have a feeling that what's happening is some dudes are out there getting this jar, busting it open and going, and that's disgusting.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? And then it's worthless. It's just a jar. Her fart is in the wind. So if it was just that would be enough for us to talk about, because that's crazy. That's insane. That's a what a time to be alive story. However, she's retired from her successful but stinky gig, says this article from Cinema Blend, after she passed gas one too many times and got the wind knocked out of her. She told Jam Press via the New York Post that she feared she had symptoms of a stroke or a heart attack and had a friend take her to the hospital. After a barrage of testing, including an EKG and blood work, Matto learned her issues were related to her diet of beans and eggs to increase her farts.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like...
We've now said farts more in this podcast than any podcast we've ever done, and we need to have a party. Hit the music.
Quite literally, like, does she not know that if you have just a healthy diet, you will naturally do that.
I mean, I fart all the time. I didn't have to go on a special. Well, I should go on a diet. This is what she says. Quote, I could tell that something was not right that evening when I was lying in bed and I could feel a pressure in my stomach moving upward. It was quite hard to breathe. And every time I tried to breathe in, I'd feel a pinching sensation around my heart. It was made clear that what I was experiencing wasn't a stroke or a heart attack, but very intense gas pains. I thought I was having a stroke and that these were my final moments. I was overdoing it. Or as I like to call it, Thursday. Overdoing it. She allegedly farted in 50 jars a week in order to keep up with demand.
Way to go. You know what song would work perfectly for her business?
Which one is that?
Total Eclipse of the Fart by Michael Scott.
Ask me how much she was charging and how much people were buying these jars of fart for.
How much?
$100.
Oh my goodness.
One Hondo. And she had amassed somewhere in the ballpark of $100K in mid-December. And at the time she walked away from it due to her health issues from farting too much. $200,000 in profit. Well, there's no overhead, just the jars.
Yeah.
And your hospital bills from eating too many eggs and beans, apparently. Which I'm just like, rookie? That's my normal diet, right?
She should have an auction. Like, I'm only going to do 5 of these a day, and you have to bid on a slot for you to get one of these jars. I just made her even more money with less farts.
This might be my favorite part. She told the New York Times or whoever that was. I'm sorry, it was the New York Post. She told the New York Post that she will donate a portion of her money from the fart jars to charitable organizations that help gastric disorders. You can just see this girl being like, well, I just want people to recognize the struggle that I had, and I want to help out.
Oh.
God bless her. That's, we can sit here and joke about it, but I would gladly fart in jars to make $100K. I mean, if people wanted that, I don't know why they would. I mean, my aroma is nice. If I just can't imagine why anybody would want that. We are sick. We're gross.
That's pretty messed up.
Oh. Like if you told a younger version of Cody this, like early childhood, I'd be like, I'm going to be a millionaire. But yeah, wow.
See, what I want to know is if you bought one, would you then go like around and show it to your friends and like say, hey, look what I just got?
Let's put it in.
Or would you be like, this is my like private thing that nobody else is going to know about?
Let's put it in terms that we can appreciate. So say it was Robert Downey Jr.'s farts, because we're a geek podcast. This jar contains the fart of one Robert Downey Jr. Oh, ooh. Is that the reaction we'd have? Or would everyone look, even that our geek friends would just look at us?
Yeah.
What? You bought that?
I would be
How
like,
much
how
did you
did
pay?
you get it?
My wife might throw me out of the house.
But this isn't shocking.
Let's ask the question we want to ask.
Okay.
Is this sexual?
Yes.
Gross.
I'll answer it.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
pretty gross.
That's awful.
That's
I'm sorry I
nasty.
went there. I immediately want that stricken from my memory.
That's nasty.
Slash, like, I remember switching to kind of like sports, but like when the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees in the World Series, and like it was either their first baseman or their third baseman like caught a foul ball, and like his gum fell out. Someone saved the gum and then tried to auction off the gum, and
nice.
like it went for like tens of thousands of dollars. So, already been chewed gum from a
Yeah.
random Arizona Diamondbacks player, and like the early 2000s.
There's some times where it becomes abundantly clear that we are too affluent. We have too much money. And it's times like these. Someone's selling farts in a jar and people are actually buying them. Someone's auctioning off chewed gum from a World Series player. That's when it becomes apparent, like, yeah, everything Iranians say when they say death to Americans, it's justified. It's justified. This is why they hate us, right?
Yeah.
This is us.
This is absolutely why they hate us. People over there struggling for clean water in other places. We're paying $100 for a jar of farts. This is us.
It's not even a jar of farts.
This week on This
It's
Is Us.
a single fart.
It's a jar of fart. Cain, where are we at? Where are you at on Norman Reedus as Ghost Rider? Are you down with that? Do you know who Norman Reedus is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that, but
Thanks to his
that's kind
own
of cool.
social media campaign, it appears that he's such a popular choice that Marvel's actually, Feige may be actually talking to him. They might actually be talking about Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl Dixon on The Walking Dead, has for years.
I don't believe it will happen
You don't believe it?
because I was a part of a campaign once to get LeVar Burton to host Jeopardy and to be the permanent host, and they only gave him like one episode. Those fascists.
I mean, do you just want to admit that LeVar Burton wasn't right for Jeopardy host?
he's too good. That's what he is.
I mean, he should be teaching kids how to read.
He taught me how to
Reading
read.
Rainbow.
So, yeah, no. So, I don't think that, knowing Disney, I don't feel that they'll give in to all this fan pleasingness, and if they do, it will be like, oh, he's a variant, and then he's gone.
Yeah, I didn't get into the whole Jeopardy, who's going to be the next Jeopardy host, as much as you did, apparently. I just don't care because nobody is Alex Trebek. Nobody.
Well, that's correct. So you either end the show,
Yes, they should have ended it.
or if you continue it, you get LeVar.
No. When you continue it, you get a fake show with a fake host, and I say, look what thou hath wrought. And that was over dramatic.
Because now it's Blossom.
Is she hosting it?
She's-
Mayim Bialik?
She's hosting one of them. Ken Jennings is hosting the other one, I think.
Yeah, they're in the middle of some Wynn Street. Well, she's a woman, but not, you know what I mean.
Yes.
That's what she identifies as.
Mm-hmm.
She's won 40-some episodes in a row or something.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Because I think Ken made it to like 56 or something. I don't know.
So she's chasing down Ken Jennings. Good luck. Good luck to her. I don't watch it anymore just because I don't have time. I used to. The last time I was really into watching it was when TiVo was a thing. I would TiVo the episodes and watch them. But now I don't even know where you would watch them. Hulu? You watch them on Hulu?
Yeah, I mean, you can record it. It's airing on
Don't talk to me like that.
some channel. I don't know what channel Jeopardy's on.
Get mad at me?
How dare you?
You don't think Norman Reedus' Ghost Rider is going to happen?
I don't. Because this is a move DC would do. And Marvel doesn't do what DC does.
No, Marvel or DC wouldn't do a Ghost Rider at all. They'd do some B-rate third character and say it was Ghost Rider because they didn't want to do Ghost Rider anymore, like they did with Superman. Oh, you know what? Supergirl and Batgirl are just going to be the Superman and Batman now.
I was thinking more along the lines of Snyder Cut. Like, we're going to give in and, oh, fans want this? Have it.
Additional news item, because this was on my list before it got lost because Facebook saved items are going astray. Lots of rumors this week coming out from mostly, I saw it from Grace Randolph on Twitter, who's an insider. Here's all the buzz of things. Saying, but she's not the only one. Several of them that are reliable saying that the new Flash movie will reset the DCEU. Superman and Batman will not be a part of it. It'll be a new Justice League with Supergirl and Batgirl. You okay with that? This is your
This is
Fandom,
mine.
Cody.
So
No Henry Cavill out.
I don't believe it.
Well, you better believe it because there's a lot of good sources saying it's true.
I don't think it'll be a complete resetting.
Someone responded on our Facebook page
Okay,
saying
so
this has
that-
been debunked, but it hasn't been. There are lots of
That
good
person
insiders.
It's my friend Scotty, and Scotty is just as big of a comic book nerd as you, and
I think he's wishful thinking.
he might be, and I might be as well. But one of the things that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has pushed for.
But The Rock's not in charge.
I know he's not, but he has gotten a lot of things in motion with DC.
Okay.
Kind of like he did with the XFL. He's a guy that does things. He moves things, although he owns the XFL.
Please don't compare the XFL to real entertainment ever again.
When it is great, you can thank Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay.
But he wants Henry Cavill back. I don't think it's a hard reset. I think that they'll still have Batman. They'll still have Superman.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
You know what? I'm good. Bring back Michael Keaton. Bring back Val. Bring back George. Bring them all back.
We could talk about this for so much longer, but we should just take a break so I can calm down before I throw something at your face.
Well, does Cain have an opinion on
Cain, are you a fan of the
DC's?
DCEU? And do you have an opinion on that story?
Yeah, I don't mind the DCEU. I usually kind of just take things at face value. Don't read too much into it. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of the DCEU. I do think they rushed it a little bit. They kind of tried to do the Marvel thing and build this big universe of lots of characters, but they didn't take enough time to actually develop the characters so we could really get to know them. I think it had a lot of potential that they missed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the stories were okay. The
All right.
movies were okay.
I think if they would have launched straight out of the Nolan Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, I think that
Yeah.
that would have been a lot more successful. Because up
Yeah.
until then, Marvel has Iron Man and the Hulk
Yeah.
happening, and no one's saying, oh, those are cinematic masterpieces compared to the Dark Knight trilogy.
I agree. If if Man of Steel comes out as a part of Christian Bale's Batman world, where it's at, yeah, I agree. That's a much better scenario and setup,
And
in my opinion.
maybe limit Zack Snyder to just
Yeah.
one movie franchise and not the whole universe.
I feel bad dissing on Zack Snyder's Justice League because he has no control of it by the time, so it's 4.5 hours long or whatever. And it's like a giant fever dream, but most movies would be if it's not edited.
yeah.
What you're seeing is his total, complete, videography basically of all of it that would have got edited down. And we don't know the kind of movie it would have been like if he'd have been allowed to do that. Instead, you got
Joss
Whedon come in and do what he does, which is make an awful movie.
Oh, it was sad.
And then so when Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out, I watch it and I recognize that, there's a lot better stuff here. For sure. There's better stuff here, but it's so expansive and all over the place that I'm just kind of distracted by it all. It's just man, this is like a giant, it's like a fever dream.
So many side stories
Yeah.
in Zack Snyder's cut that I want them to do an HBO Max series over the heroes and gods of old.
Yeah.
I want that. Show me what the King of Atlantis was doing several thousand years ago.
Yeah. So I didn't enjoy it, but I'm loath to hold Zack Snyder is super responsible for that because it's an unfinished epic movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's got so much stuff there that on face value, like you said, there's a little bit of the old gods in there. There's a little bit of, at face value, there's stuff in there. Man, this would have worked better as a series,
Oh, yeah.
like on HBO Max, but It is what it is. We need to move on.
We do.
We need to move on to our main topic. So let's take a break. We'll be right back on Pop Culture Pastor to talk about the main subject of this podcast 50 minutes later. Okay, welcome back to Pop Culture Pastor. Dave and Cody and Cain all here hanging out, and it's January, early January, the first week of January of 2022. And I thought, what better way to do a New Year's show here than to come up with our New Year's resolutions, pop culture style. So I asked the fellas here to come up with some pop culture resolutions, and then that's what we'll talk about now for our main part of our podcast here. This is like the main course, although the appetizers were pretty good today.
Yeah.
Feel like I'm pretty full.
Or is that just gas pains?
I might need to get some jars. Might need to get some jars for the gas expulsions. But yeah, who would like to start? This is real simple. We're just pop culture resolutions for this year.
Oh, I have one.
You got one?
I got one.
Tell me.
And I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, so I'll give a little background information. Like,
I don't touch your resolutions. don't give people that idea.
So, like, I don't know, probably about high school into college and like early on to my marriage, like I become a bit of a film snob. Like Nick Cage for me back then, couldn't stand him. For me, he's like the same person every movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now, like, my resolution is I just want to enjoy it for the fun that it is. Not so much directed at Nick Cage. He was just an example. But, like, when you were talking about Harry Potter, like, people protesting and boycotting, I'm going to leave the politics of the actors, the directors, the story creators off. I'm just going to enjoy it for the entertainment it is and try to block out all that side noise.
You're not going to go Ridley Scott, Marty Scorsese. Doesn't have to be an artsy flick.
Yeah.
Cinema.
I'm going to enjoy Nick Cage for all his caginess.
Good. Interesting. Well, one of my resolutions plays directly into that. Like lots of people, I wish to change my diet for my New Year's resolution. It occurs to me, first of all, that I grew up being a movie buff. I'm the kind of person that would go to the theater once a week by myself to go catch a movie. And in my older age and with family and all that and work, you don't get a chance to do that as much. And I find that my movie diet has become unruly. That I'm only watching the light, airy stuff, the popcorn flicks, if you will, the cotton candy of the cinematic world, as Ridley Scott may put it.
Are you living on desserts?
I am. I am living off of the popcorn, Cracker Jack cinematic stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I love the MCU. I love a good summer popcorn flick. I love to have fun, like Cody was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? This diet needs some protein. Less carbs, more protein. That's what I need. And it occurs to me that I haven't been watching a lot of the Academy Award nominated films in the past couple years.
Yeah.
I need to change my diet. So my diet's a little bit opposite of yours. I need to get a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
Watch some of those movies that are a little bit more pretentious.
You're going from a milk diet to a more meat diet.
That's right. Looking at you, Tree of Life. I'm just kidding. I'm never watching that movie again. So pretentious. Really bad. Really bad. Terrence Malick, stop it. Terrible. No, but yeah, in seriousness, there's a whole lot of movies over the last couple of years that I meant to watch, that I wanted to watch. I just haven't gotten around to watching them yet because when am I going to do that? Well, at work, obviously. when I'm supposed to be working. Don't tell Cain. Cain, do you have a New Year's resolution? Pop culture New Year's resolution?
Yeah. Actually, this is kind of related to what we were talking about before. I this year would really like to watch the Snyderverse Justice League because I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, nice.
I've only seen the original, the theater release, Joss Whedon version.
Okay.
They're 9-day different.
Yeah, I have heard that. So
And we do mean night. It's dark. You're gonna have to turn up the brightness on your television.
So I am super looking forward to that.
Mhm.
I'm also looking forward to not finishing off, but catching up on the MCU with my two oldest daughters because they only started watching the MCU just a couple of months ago, and we have binged watched 10 years worth of MCU movies in just a couple of months, and they've done really well, and they're absolutely loving it. So I'm super looking forward to actually catching them up, educating them. I'm prepping them for the new Spider-Man movie, making sure that they're educated in the previous Spider-Man movies. They have to watch all 5 before they're allowed to watch the new one.
We're sorry about Spider-Man 3, but you got to watch it because we did.
Yeah. So I'm super looking forward to that. And the last one is just catching up on a couple of TV shows, which I've been super hanging out for the latest season to come out. And I just haven't had time to watch them. So I am absolutely pumped about those. The first is Lost in Space. Have you guys watched Lost in Space?
My kids love Lost in Space.
I love that show. It is so good, and I love too that I love shows that are deliberate about the number of seasons that they produce. Lost in Space was only ever going to be 3 seasons long.
Yeah.
So the 3rd season has come out. I am pumped ass about watching that.
You know what I love about? I haven't seen every episode. My kids watch it.
Yeah.
And I've watched some of it with them. You know what I love about that? Parker Posey as the fake doctor, what's her name?
Yeah. Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would watch her in anything where she's called to play a bad guy who is trying to not be a visible bad guy.
Yeah.
Right? She's so good at that.
Man, she is so good. You love to hate her.
Yeah, and she's meant to be campy in that show, but she's so good at it.
Yeah.
It's convincing.
Yeah.
Oh man, she's wonderfully talented. And I've noticed that just from watching my kids watch that show.
Yeah. And the more you watch, the more you hate her in a loving way. Like you can appreciate because you're like, she's not like that in real life, you know. I'm sure she's wonderful in real life, but man, on that show, you're like, oh,
she's
gosh.
come a long way in her evilldom.
Yeah,
Because Dazed
man.
and Confused, you were pretty sure you hated her.
Yeah,
Everyone. See, she was younger then, and you were like, no, I hate her.
Yeah.
And now you're not so sure. You're like, oh, Dr. Smith, maybe a little endearing. Nope, she's not good.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that's a good show, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
It's one of those where my kids kind of watched it, and I just didn't have. When I was with them, I would watch it, but I have to go back and watch it when I have time.
It's well worth it. It's good.
Very good.
It's a good show.
All right. Cody, do you have another one?
Oh, I got, I think 2 more. But
all right.
So the next one, and then we can go to you because I'm sure you have more. But the next one, if we were to relate it to like New Year's resolutions, it would be like kind of exercising. But it would be like exercising my movie going with like films that more align with my wife's taste in movies. Not that we just watch what I want to watch, but like, and this is the lone movie that gets brought up every time. She's like, "Oh, you don't ever want to go watch what I want to watch." And I'm like, "Name one." And it's, "Well, you didn't watch Cats with me."
Oh boy.
And I'm like, did you read the reviews? Like, everyone said it was a dumpster fire. And I have seen Cats, like, on, like, Kansas City's off-Broadway production.
You want to go see Cats? Take a step out into our neighborhood.
Exactly.
Tons of them.
They're everywhere. But
Somewhere. No. They don't sing.
so, like, we're watching American Underdog in theaters, and there's a preview, and she's like, we're watching this.
Oh.
And I'm like,
Is it for the Unbreakable Boy?
no.
Oh, no.
But we are going to watch that. We both agreed on
Okay,
that one.
all right.
It was for the most random
Oh, no.
Christian movie
Oh,
ever.
no. Say it isn't so.
Redeeming Love.
No. Like, okay, when that trailer ran, we need to have serious talk. Christians, we need to have a serious talk right now. I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead. Do you have something you wanted to say about it?
Like, it comes on and, like, I'm like, this is Lauren Daigle. Okay.
Yeah, they're playing a Lauren Daigle song.
Yeah.
It doesn't match up with what's on the screen, so you're tripping out for a minute.
And-
You're like,
and
what
I'm like-
is happening?
Something about this story seems familiar.
There are relations going on the screen.
And then, like, after we get done watching American Underdog, I go and look up the movie, and I'm like, oh, it's based on this prophet. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, this all makes sense.
It is a modern, but not too modern, retelling of the story of Hosea.
Yeah,
And boy, let me tell you, they really lean into it.
they do.
The trailer, I'm like, wait, we're in a Christian movie. What is this trailer?
And
There was heavy breathing.
there was, and, like, she's in a brothel.
Yeah,
And
it's the Old West.
yes.
So okay, you get it. It's chaotic. We talked about this last pod with 1883. It's the Old West is chaotic. It's a bad place.
And so, like,
But there was lots of heavy breathing.
after I learned that it's based on Hosea, I'm like, oh, this might be cleverly done. Like, I don't know if many people should watch it. I'm not going to recommend it.
Let me ask
until,
you a
like,
question. After seeing the trailer, and if you have not, okay, first of all, if you're listening to the pause the pod, go watch the trailer for Redeeming Love, then come back. Go do it right now. We'll wait. Okay, did you go watch it? Okay, now we're back. You've watched the Redeeming Love trailer, and now I have a question for you, Cody. Who's the target audience for this?
So, like, but
Who's
they
gonna
don't
go see this
But in the
because there are real scenes apparently in this movie
Yeah.
of rated R kind of stuff.
so
It says it's PG-13 though,
yeah,
which even that for a Christian movie is kind of bonkers.
it is. But they don't advertise that it's based on Hosea.
No. So
So-
you think they're trying to get
I think that they're trying to, like, get a mainstream audience to buy into this love story. And then, like, if you're the random person that likes the book of Hosea and it's like, oh, and then, but if you're like a mainstream person that's watching this and you look it up and you're like, oh, it's based on this book, and then you see the author based it as a retelling of this prophet in the Bible.
the creators of this movie are either the most brilliant people ever or the dumbest people ever. I don't know yet.
So, yeah, I probably will be watching this movie because my wife said, you never watch what I want to watch. And so when we
Man.
watch this and this becomes really awkward, I'm going to be like, this is why we don't watch what you want to watch.
And now I'm in a theater. People see me. I'm a pastor. What have you brought me to?
What's next? A modern retelling of the Song of Songs?
We could have been at Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah. Well, now, if you're going to see it, I have to see it because we're going to have to talk about that, right?
We are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to have to reread Hosea. But I remember being in my prophets class, and like the professor who looked like Danny DeVito, like height and like physical appearance, everything, and kind of the attitude, same attitude. And he's just talking about how there's this lady and she's rescued by this loving prophet, but she constantly cheats on him and constantly goes back and like is back and forth, and like he just is constantly getting his heart broken, and he's a representation of God.
Yeah.
And she's the representation of Israel.
Side note, Prophets class sounds like it's out of a Christian version of Hogwarts.
It really was.
Oh wow, yeah, that's. We saw so I went and saw obviously American Underdog again as well, and that trailer was playing in front of the movie, and I remember turning to my wife after, huh? Absolutely not. My wife didn't want anything to do with it.
Good choice, Danielle.
Yeah. Although I think I could talk her into it, because now I gotta see it. If you're gonna see it, I gotta see it.
That's if it comes around here.
Yeah.
That's like the hope for me not to see it is.
We do like a good romance movie around here.
We do.
My next resolution, Cody, a lot of people, if Dave Ramsey were here, he'd say the New Year's is a great time to make a resolution to fix your budget. Come up with your budget, fix your budget. And I'm no different than Dave Ramsey. My name is Dave. And so my resolution for this year is to budget better so that I can budget my money correctly towards buying more Funkos. Funko Pops. Listeners, do you know what Funko Pops are? Okay, I'm diehard into Funko Pops right now.
They're fun.
They are fun. And people, some people, I collect them. I've got them in my box. Some people take them out of the box. I'm like, no, you will not take them out of the box. Some people are adamant about that. No, I take them out of the box.
Some people even pull off the stickers off the box.
Savages. What? Why would you do that?
I don't know. Why are you opening the box?
I'm not. Because if you want to take it out of the box, you can save the box and all the packaging and just put it back in and it's still fine.
Yeah.
Just don't damage the box. Funko Pop. So I'm new to the Funko game. Cain, do you know what Funkos are?
I do.
Do you have any Funkos?
I do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Like how many do you have?
I have probably, maybe a dozen or so.
Cain over here being all quiet. He's in the game.
My oldest daughter has probably about half a dozen. And
Wow.
my middle daughter probably has about the same. And then my youngest has 2.
The Coulton family's got all the Funkos. Yeah. Yeah. I just love it. I love collecting them. I've turned into the person who goes into all the retail places. They sell them. Like, so I go into Walmart or Target, the places where they sell them retail, and I'll be digging through and looking at the ones in the back. Like, I'm the person the employees make fun of. Probably. That's who I am now. That's what I've become. And just like Dave Ramsey, I want to budget my money so I know exactly how many I can buy. Which my wife tells me is 0, but that's not, come on.
That's what
I need to
budgets
buy
are
some more
for.
Funkos.
That's what budgets are for.
That's what budget's for. Yeah, I need to buy.
Take the 0 and make it a positive number.
A lot of people, I turned, so my whole, you can do the Christmas, your wish list on Amazon. So people were wanting me to fill out my wish list on Amazon so they could buy Christmas presents for me for,
People do that?
And mine, yeah. I put almost all my list was Funkos, and my mom and others were like, I'm not buying you yet. What's your real present? I'm like, that is a real present. It's what I want.
So I have a friend that for his birthday, he asked his mom for Funkos.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm not buying you any more dolls.
What is this Funko negativity?
Oh, I don't know.
Why are we looked down upon? Yeah, and that's right. I'm including myself in this, even though I just started a couple months ago. Why are we shamed for our Funko collectibles? They're collectibles. They're not dolls.
So, Cain, what is the coolest Funko you have?
Probably Iron Spider.
Oh, all right. Does it glow in the dark?
No, but my oldest daughter's one, she's got a Captain Marvel one that does glow in the dark.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
That is very cool. All right. Yeah. I'm all about the Funkos. I just bought a Watcher one, the Watcher from What If. Don't tell my wife.
Hopefully your wife is like your mom and does not listen to this podcast.
Oh, my wife listens to the podcast. I'm not going to buy any more, honey, until next Saturday. Cody and I, if you're interested, speaking of that, Cody and I are having a geek day, and we're going to the city to have a geek day.
The city.
That's what we country folk call it. And
Big city.
we're going to the city, and we're going to have a geek day. We're going to go to some collectible shops. And if you want to follow along, we'll post pictures on our social media, Pop Culture Pastor social media pages, to show you what we're up to. Probably buy more Funkos, comic books, things like that.
The important stuff.
We're going to have a big, buttery, greasy burger.
Yeah.
Apparently, too.
And
Someplace in Tulsa you've heard of.
No, I've been to.
You've been to.
It's amazing. But I'm not giving free advertisement unless they're giving free food.
That's right, burger place. Give us free food. We've got 113 listeners this week. Think we're just going to give that away? Can't buy advertising like that. But you can actually buy it by giving us a free burger. That's why we will not mention the place we're going to until the day, and I'll post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll check in. I'll give them a check-in. That's a freebie.
But they're not getting me saying their name unless they ask.
Not on the podcast. Okay. Cain, do you have another one?
Yeah, I do. This year, I want to build more Lego. I actually haven't. I really like building Lego. It's something really cool and fun. Just about sitting down and building something, and it's kind of like looking down on the Funkos. People kind of go, "You're a grown man. You play with Lego? What's wrong with you?" But it's the modern Lego is really focused towards adults as well as kids. Like there are a bunch of series of sets that come out that are actually they are rated R18, not because of their content, but because of their target audience. They are targeted towards grown-up collectors. So I recently just built one. It wasn't one of the adult collector ones, but it was really cool, and I forgot how much I love putting it together. And I haven't put together a brand new set for ages, and it was super fun. So I want to do some more of that.
Yeah, and he's also, Cain's being modest. Cain has a YouTube channel.
I do,
and we're gonna pump this right now.
Yeah, plug it.
We're going to plug this because this YouTube channel deserves to be watched. Because Cain, among other things, being a talented dude, he's teaching him. You taught yourself to kind of edit video, right?
Yeah, I wanted to get really good at video editing. So I thought, hey, why not spend hours upon hours upon hours of video editing and start a YouTube channel?
So tell people what the name of your YouTube channel is.
Okay, the YouTube channel is called The Vintage Brick. If you would like a shortcut there, of course you can search it up on YouTube, but if you would like a shortcut, you can go to the URL thevintagebrick.nz.
Okay.
Well, it's NZ, sorry. We're in America. .nz.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. The premise of the channel is that I found my box of Lego from when I was a kid, and I wanted to put it all together, so hey, why not document it all? So it's kind of a mix of vintage stuff that I had when I was a kid, my own stuff, and also some newer sets that are really cool and I really like the look of, and it's just kind of some of the stuff that I'm into, and I try and do these build videos in an engaging way, and at least go check out the trailer. It's like a 2-minute video that kind of gives you a bit of an overview of the channel. It's really cool.
Yeah. I watched a video the other day. You showed me a video. So I watched a couple of them, and your channel deserves to have people watching it. It's that good. He's
Thanks.
really good at what he does. Like
Thanks.
this is entertaining. It's funny. He builds Legos. So if you're just one of those kind of people that likes to watch things get built, you're going to like it for that. If you like fun things, you're going to like it because he's funny in the video. He plays multiple parts. There's like a news guy. Yeah, it's just hilarious stuff. So yeah, the Vintage Brick, check it out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel because I'm sure you'll make more. And you've just been through a move, an overseas move. So there's been a break.
That's right. I haven't posted anything in like 6 months, so it's been a big break. But once I'm established here and kind of on my feet and figure out what life looks like, I'm really keen on starting to do some more videos again.
Yeah, check it out, the Vintage Break. You won't be sorry. I'll share something on the Pop Culture Pastor pages too, one of the videos, because people got to watch this. It's so good, so funny.
Legit.
It's legit. Cody, do you have any more?
Got one more.
One more. Hit me with it.
So this one, it's a weird one, and it's oddly like comic book specific. So like I have created like a small comic book collection just recently, and I have an issue that I gotta get over. Like I have issues of comic books that don't have like the previous issues or the issues afterwards, and
That's an expensive problem.
it is
Or it can be.
but like I'm not buying like really random comic books, so I'm not like getting the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Like it's
Well, the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad sounds great. What is that? Did you just make that up?
no, it was a TV show with Martin, or not Martin Lawrence, wrong Lawrence, Joey Lawrence's younger brother.
Joey Lawrence?
No, his younger brother.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whichever one was on Boy Meets World, Boy Meets World.
Okay.
Yeah.
The uncool Lawrence.
The uncool
Go on.
Lawrence, yeah. So I am going to have to, like, I know their stories, what's going on. So I'm going to have to, like, just sit down and read. And be okay with not having the particulars to why Carnage is in the Wild West. And what's going on with Spider-Man and Kingpin in this particular issue leading up to this issue. So, like, I'm just going to have to dive in. And also I want to do more fiction reading because I'm a nonfiction kind of guy.
Very cool. This is why you and I are such good friends, Cody. Because I also have a resolution to read more. It's not an uncommon New Year's resolution. I don't read as much as I'd like to. And so I'm ready to pick up some, not books, but comics. Look at this. No lie. Look what the last thing on my list is. Read more comics. Yes.
Nice.
My comic reading, collecting, my fierce comic book reading is up till like the mid 90s, late 90s. And then I'm out of it for a while. Young adulthood, all that. And there's a lot of these MCU stories that kind of about half and half. See, it seems like about half of them are taking them from recent or aughts stories. And then a lot of the MCU stories are coming from like my time, early 90s, 80s, even. The Infinity stuff, the Infinity Gauntlet, that was like a late 80s, early 90s thing, I think. Somewhere in that region. And so that whole story kind of came from that era. But there's a lot of stuff. The Eternals movie is working out of a version of the Eternals that were kind of recent, starting, recent more in the last 15 years or so. Guardians of the Galaxy, same way. Guardians of the Galaxy, when I read comics, is completely different team. None of those people, like, it's just such a weird, that's like a completely different lineup. And the comic has a completely different feel. It's kind of wacky back in the 80s. It's all in the future. And then, Star-Lord and all them, that's a more recent iteration. So I want to go back and read some of these more recent iterations. And I have Marvel Unlimited. I subscribe to Marvel Unlimited to do this.
So you can have all that at your fingertips.
Yeah, I can get my giant iPad and read them there.
Like, I enjoy graphic novels more
Mhm.
just because you have the complete run right there, and so you're not missing any story,
Yeah.
like previous or post, and you're not having to like either buy or subscribe or yeah.
Good. That's a good resolution.
Reading.
Read more comics. I'm down
Thank
with
you,
that.
LeVar Burton.
Reading Rainbow. Take a look. It's Reading Rainbow. I got excited there. You guys remember Electric Company?
No.
That was a good one
Yes.
too on PBS. Reading Rainbow and Electric Company used to be on like kind of back to back sometimes.
I vaguely remember Electric Company.
Electric Company is my first.
Even from New Zealand. I
Yeah.
think it got there.
Right? It's my first exposure to Marvel comics because Spider-Man there was a little animated short Spider-Man things on Electric Company.
Right.
What are you laughing at? Are you laughing at my childhood?
Yes.
Because it was that and then Amazing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends came on Saturday mornings. And it was an hour Marvel show with that and the Hulk. But Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was the show. It was him and Iceman and Firestar.
That's his Amazing Friends?
Mm-hmm. I
Does
know
he-
it's not quite comic book accurate, but just roll with it.
Does he not have more amazing friends?
Who's more amazing than Bobby Drake the Iceman?
Like, I would even say Val Kilmer's Iceman was more.
But he wasn't made of ice.
He wasn't.
It was just a cool nickname.
It was.
He did have frosted tips. Nobody frosted the tips like Val back in the 80s. You only wish you could have those tips.
Like, if only young Dave could know that Spider-Man would join the Avengers. And then talk to other Spider-Men and be like, I'm part of the Avengers. And then them be like, is that a rock band?
I'm just going to say, the farther away I get from seeing Spider-Man No Way Home and the end of that movie, I'm very much happy with where he's at now in the MCU. Spider-Man, Avengers Spider-Man is great and all, but there's something about struggling on his own neighborhood Spider-Man in college. Man, that's where it hits me. That's the 80s Spider-Man. That just hits me in my kid heart, and I'm ready for Tom Holland in some less attached MCU Spider-Man movies. More detached from the cosmic stuff and the Avengers level threats.
More the Daredevil level threats.
Yes. I need to see a Daredevil Spider-Man team up stat. He is a really good lawyer.
He is.
That's what I hear. Okay. Guys, this was a great episode. I think we can pat ourselves on the back on this one. I can't.
Yeah,
My back hurts,
I
but,
can't
you know,
get there.
It's too far away. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We sure appreciate everyone listening to the podcast, as usual. If you like our podcast, follow us. It helps us a lot if you follow the podcast and wherever you're listening to it, become a subscriber. Also, share it if you like it. Share it on your social media. Tell people how much you like it. And if you feel led, you can on Spotify, I believe, we have a support button, or on Anchor. We have a support button. And if you feel led to give us money for the podcast, our pledge to you is we don't pocket that. It'll go into making the podcast better.
It will not go to more Funkos.
No, that will not go to more Funkos. That's what my wife's job's for.
Yes.
I didn't mean that. She won't listen this long. I hope not. Turn that off. We may edit that out. Edit that part out. Okay. Thanks so much. This has been Pop Culture Pastor. Have a great week, everyone.